Yeah, there's some really elaborate, well thought out deaths in this, I must say.
Well, and there's lots of like actual set pieces. Like there's also there's one point where they deal with a hostage situation, where these guys have just taken like this random household, and like these criminals are just like cartoons. The ones where they're like telling the woman that they've kidnapped, like, are you got alcohol in this house? You know, drinking will kill you. Yeah. And he's like shoving a gun in her face. And like,
yeah, they're just doing that like that classic action bad guy stuff that you'd hear in like Con Air and things that became more ironic later on in the series.
And the funniest thing is that I believe at that point they've already killed like 2 of the hostages. They've only got like 1 left. And by the time our 2 homies arrive, Antonio and Alfredo, they show up and they get to the hostage situation. They're like, all right, thank God you guys are here. Like, we need you guys to deal with this. And their plan of action is, you know, they've already killed like 2 hostages, right? So like really in the long story here, in like the headlines, what's 1 more or 1 less?
In the big picture.
Yeah.
Does it really mean anything?
Yeah. You know, like if we save her, does it really mean that much more than if we just don't and just run in there and shoot everyone?
Yeah, because we got a motorcycle and we're ready to plow that thing through the door.
Yeah, and everyone's just like, what?
It's like, this is cop work. This is what we do. Just trust us.
Yeah, and that it ends up being what they do anyway. They end up breaking
with the motorcycle.
Well, they end up fucking with the guys by like not bringing them their car. He pretends not to know how to drive a car when the police bring the car over. That's what they ask for to escape with.
Right.
And then they also call in a helicopter to like distract them. And the helicopter distracts them long enough that they can break into the house and gun them all down. And that's the one where there's the guy who's like, I surrender, like, and they just shoot him anyway. And then they brutally kill all of them in front of the hostage. And the hostage is screaming, thinking that she's next, hysterical, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Just what a day.
And like, that really sums this movie up, is that like the innocent civilian is just as terrified of them as she is of
exactly.
Like literally these
and
cartoon
moments ago,
criminals.
And she doesn't even know, but moments ago they were talking about just letting her die anyway.
Yeah.
She has no clue.
Their job of protecting her did not come into the equation.
No, it was the second choice.
Yeah.
They're like, plan A was just to let their girl die.
Well, and even then they chose the most dangerous one that would have likely resulted in the criminal shooting
dying.
her.
Yeah, exactly. They're just lucky. That's all it was.
And in between scenes of them doing horrifying violence to criminals, they are, for example, like tag teaming one of the mob boss's like sisters. Or
is that what that scene was?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I think I must have missed some dialogue, because when the sex started, I was like,
what?
Like, because the first time I thought it was just like, he's a powerful man and she's a young girl, so she's influenced by the power of him or something, because she goes from being smacked to open blouse, ready to go, and she's ready to go. And then after he's done, the other guy just nonchalantly walks in and she attacks him for sex. So she was fine with it, and then I was just confused on what the context of the scene was, because I must have missed the dialogue saying it was the mob boss's daughter.
Yeah, no, either it was her sister or it was like...
So it was kind of like a revenge thing that they were doing in a way?
Yeah, a little bit. Like they were there under the pretense that they were going to like question her or something.
Well, that's what it started. Although it was one question, she didn't answer it, and then it went straight to the sex. It was like they didn't work too hard on the interrogation, we'll say that.
No, that's for sure. And then they're both just like, they don't even care about the questions anymore. They're just like having sex. And then the mom in the next room starts like making them food, even though you can hear, like, you can diegetically hear the sex. Yeah.
I think she even says a line where she mentions that her daughter enjoys sex or something like that. I could be wrong.
It's really bizarre.
It is bizarre, but the mom knows what's going on in the scene, and she's just kind of okay with it. It is very odd.
It's a really bizarre sequence where like they're using their power as police officers to like have sex with like people who they think are suspects in the criminal investigation.
Yeah. And if you said if it is the mob boss's daughter or something like that, you could, say it's like they're trying to, get at him, but it's like, okay, but you're using an innocent girl to get to him, so it doesn't really work that way, you know?
Yeah, it's this really bizarre.
It was a bizarre scene, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this movie, is that there's scenes like that where you just you're so shocked at certain moments, you know? Because they're just so bizarre. That's really the word for it. They're things we're not used to.
Well, yeah, because the buddy cop elements of this, where like these guys spend downtime, like literally they're just like full out horn dogs.
Yeah.
Or they're like the sequence where they show you what like the room looks like, and like his alarm goes off, and he's like, "Hey, shut that fucking alarm off, buddy," or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other one,
well, get your own room or apartment, you old man.
And then the other guy's like, answer the door and like they're both in like their underwear.
Yeah, one guy's
around.
in like a Speedo, basically, just walking around. Oh man, it's so funny.
Yeah, like.